Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see you. This is going to basically help us navigate through all the twists and turns in the week ahead. Plus, I look at a special topic that everybody chose. And today, it's a good one. It's net worth. So, actually, starting with self-worth first, because self-worth absolutely feeds into net worth, and all of this opens up abundance. This is good no matter where you are in your life, whether you're doing great or you're really struggling to find like what the next opportunity is. This reading is for you, and I'm glad you showed up. All right, so I like to begin everything with channeled messages, but always starting off with a picture of Apollo. Give him a little pat on the head. Hey, buddy. All right, let's get into those channeled messages now. So much like I was just talking about, it is about the now and the next, which is something that we've been focusing on in the sort of latter half of this year. Really understanding that whatever challenges you've experienced, whatever mistakes might have been made or perceived mistakes might have been made, the best that we can do is to drink in this moment. And that's actually what the guides were showing me as I was getting set up this morning and meditating, was presence of being. And also like just appreciation for having survived this far, this long. And one thing that I've been seeing for all of us, it feels like I had this dream last night where I was watching kind of like rising waters and then 3 or 4 slippery slopes. And sometimes you just have to kind of like push through it. It felt like you can get to higher ground, but the process of kind of finding your grip or finding your footing when things around you seem to be moving quickly, when sometimes you make a misstep, that was the thing where Spirit was like, you're going to get to the higher ground. You might scrape your knee on the way. It might be a little bit difficult, but we're going to get to that higher ground. So as we look at the cards today, I'm going to try to help you identify mental blocks when we go into the bigger spread, paths of least resistance. Even if there's not a super easy path, there's one that's going to be easier than the other. And then we're going to look at what you can do to unlock sort of things within yourself that help you shine, because that's going to open up abundance and that's going to open up synchronicities. And let's get started without any further delay. I always like to begin with a 7-day forecast. And this is going to help us basically get practical for this week ahead and see what it is that we need to focus on and maybe what we need to forget. All right. Oops. Apollo came up for no reason. That's fun. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the week ahead. All right, so for this, I'd like you to close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, imagine that you could paint a circle of light around your body, and we're going to see what this week has in store for us. Welcome, everyone. By the way, this is a reading for all who are present. We will take a look at some sign-specific things when we go into the elements, but until then, everybody, welcome. All right, let's get started with the energy for today, with the 10 of Cups coming through. Great time to connect with people that you love, a great time just to get outside, whether or not you're with friends or family. Sometimes just the energy of being with others can shift your perspective. And this is what we're seeing here. If there is something that you need to talk about, negotiate, or set into motion, the power of other people in your life can assist with this. I was going to say the power of 2, but it's not the 2 of Cups. It could just be leaning on the support of others or getting the advice from people that you love. Speaking of this whole abundance theme, which was what you chose, don't be afraid to lean on people. Don't be afraid to ask. Sometimes we're worried what people will think, but think of all the times that you were there for them. What if this moment is a chance for them to come back and help you? And it never hurts to ask. At the very least, you'll know where you stand with someone and you'll know if there's reciprocity. But on the plus side, more often than not, especially if this isn't something that you do all the time, if you ask, people are usually willing to lend a helping hand. And that's what I also see in this particular card, even if it's just to listen or to point you in the right direction. This is a great time for meetings, dates, or again, leaning on people that you love. Or just hanging out here. We're the Ten of Cups too. So let's see what else is coming through. All right, this is a fascinating Eight of Swords. Now, I normally look at a spider and see it as a very auspicious symbol, as a totem, because it manifests and it has the ability also to get what it wants. But in this particular situation, it can also show something that snags you a little bit, a hidden challenge, something beneath the surface. Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is normally blindfolds, right? So this would be a good day, again, keeping with our theme, to take a look at all the fine print. Are you missing a hidden resource? Are you missing something that's going to tap you out a little bit? It's also a prison of thought where we can get caught up in our own emotions and get stuck on, what isn't happening rather than what could be happening. So we want to keep an open heart, an open mind. We want to cut out any of those things in our life that blindside us or make us feel trapped. And mostly we want to imagine that there could be another way, because if you think this is it, or I'm not going to be able to get past this, it's a self-imposed block here. Eight of Swords is also saying don't back yourself in a corner, talking about being painted into a particular situation. But typically I like the spider. So one thing I would say with the spider is, even if you're in a challenging place, there's probably a way to get yourself out of it. And there's probably a way to manifest or achieve. And part of it is just about resetting the mental sort of program. Easier said than done, but that's why we're here today. So one card at a time, one day at a time. Let's take a look at Tuesday, and it's nicely aligned. So the Ten of Cups is more about friendship and support. The Ten of Pentacles can be resources as well. So yes, we have family, and you can see this grandma and granddaughter here, but it can also represent larger things like contracts, marriage contracts. It can be people who might owe you something or who can give you something, or it can be the accomplishment of a great goal in career. So we're looking at expansion and expansion through the help of others. So the common theme here with the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles in different ways is if you need some emotional support, that's really what today is about, or some friendship. On Tuesday, we might be seeing some of this open up some doors. Again, you could ask for help and they may know somebody. So there could be a referral. There could be something of that nature as well. Let me see what else we want to look at for Tuesday. I just really like that there's this sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, or completion. So if there's something that you're trying to finish, suffice it to say Tuesday is a great day to do just that. And whatever sort of mental block, because this can be a mental block, might have presented itself on Monday seems to subside by Tuesday. At the middle of the week, it's time to move forward on something. We have a slightly overwhelmed Page of Wands here, a curious one wondering, can I do it? This is why maybe many of you chose the topic of self-worth and confidence, because they also go hand in hand. You have to be able to project a certain degree of belief, stability, and excitement about something for other people to want to connect. So part of this is psyching yourself up. You've heard that phrase, and it is just thinking, kind of like the daily card reading, that you are capable, that you are deserving, that you are ready for whatever it is that you're starting to pull into your auric field. Never underestimate your ability to manifest or to create. Wands, sometimes we lose sort of like thought about the fact that they're magic wands in this whole suit. That's why whenever you're looking at the page, the knight, the king, or the queen in this suit, they are very capable of correcting, directing, manifesting, whatever it is that needs to happen. They've got the magic touch. So do you. Pages need to, however, communicate. So you need to work on first believing. Magic works because you believe it and you understand it on a soul level. And then it's follow through and communication or demonstration. So once you've got over any sort of internal block, then just go for it. But I feel like many of us at the midweek are working on that internal pep talk and are focusing on just setting it into motion. You don't have to solve it. Wednesday is not about solving it. It's about setting it into motion, waving the wand and uttering your magic spell, right? Just like you would see in any of our favorite fantasy movies. Okay, as we take a look at Thursday, this is a day to pull back a little bit and take care of yourself. So we have the Page of Cups. This is a sensitivity card on some levels. So there could just be this impatience for some of you, or frustration, or maybe someone said something and it gets under your skin a little bit. And this is reminding you to get some distance before reacting, before also communicating, because pages are all about that. So we want to get back into a neutral place before any sort of action, reaction, or communication takes place. One thing that I love about this particular illustration is we see an abundance on this particular boat and this school of fish. Some of you may be looking at deviating from the crowd, or you're seeking your crowd. It's one or the other. And there's no right or wrong way to go here. You got to tune into the heart space rather. And if it feels right, if you feel good going in that direction and everyone else is, perfect. It's synchronistic, serendipitous. But if you don't, that's okay too. The heart knows, and trust the heart to kind of be your internal compass or your North Star. It's also okay to take a step back. Whether it's a page or a knight and it's reversed, we might be rewinding a little bit, and before you get too far on any given path, and think to yourself, am I still aligned? Is this still okay? All right? As we go to the end of the week, there were two cards that stuck together, and I just allowed them to be stuck together and said, let's read them. So the first of the two is the King of Swords, and King of Swords is one of the optimal communicators. He's a great leader. He's level-headed. He knows what to do, and so you're leaning into all of those traits that you have to trust your instincts. But he's reversed. Sometimes he can be critical and not with a constructive element. Whether it's you giving that criticism or you receiving it, try to find the constructive element, and if it's missing, it's not time to have that communication. You need to pull back a little bit. Pay attention to other people's preparedness or receptivity. It may not be the right time to have a conversation. That's okay. He acts swiftly, but he should think and tune in before acting or speaking. The positive side, because all cards are nuanced, is it can just be a simple no. I don't want to do this, or this isn't right. And he doesn't mince words. And sometimes you need that line in the sand. Do not pass. Like Gandalf, you shall not pass, that kind of thing. That's a King of Swords moment. It's clear, even though in that situation he had to fight a little bit more for it, and he did. So a King of Swords is willing to stand up for themselves, will fight, and will, if they have to, end the situation quickly with actions and words, okay? We have an Ace of Swords also connected to that king, and that's very interesting because you might have to rewrite something or revisit something. A reversed King of Swords, you could imagine going through and, like, it could be a pen editing, but it could also be saying, it's kind of like redecorating. I need to rearrange, or I need to break it down and then build it up. And there's a little bit of that going on too. What I love on Friday, because we're looking at that, is your ability to shape your world with communication. Also your ability to turn off things that don't resonate or are not helping you. So you can say, no, I don't want to talk about this right now. It's within your rights to just say this isn't the right time. You can either reset it or just say, we're done. There's a nice finality and a nice strength with this card, and sometimes we just have to say no so we can free ourselves up to say yes to the things that matter most. Okay? For the weekend, I like what I see coming through on Saturday. It's kind of a discovery card here. Things are moving forward. A new idea, a new resource, a new path is revealing itself with the Knight of Pentacles. And there is perhaps a breakthrough when it comes to any sort of lack. So we are looking at resources today because we want to look at abundance. So it could take the better part of the week to align it, and we'll talk about it when I do the quick review here. But I start to see it coming together in about 5 or 6 days, which is good. Keep your eye on the prize. I like that the coin is right in front of this knight. He knows what his goal is, what his budget is, what his worth is, and he's going to use all of this to stay on track, not to lose any path, any time, etc. If you need to have a conversation about money, if you want to apply for a job, if you need to somehow deal with time, energy, or money, this upcoming Saturday is one of the best days to make it happen. Okay? And you have to really work on seeing it for others to see it too. So that is the whole idea of the larger theme, which is self-worth equals worth. If you can see it, others can see it. If you can't, it becomes increasingly difficult to get people to understand why they should invest, why they should listen, why it's the right time. All right, and then this is culminating here with this beautiful card on Sunday, the moon. I actually like this moon card because there is this feeling of illumination. So each moon card brings a different sort of insight. The highest and most elevated version of the moon is divine feminine energy, an illumination of a path in front of you, and the ability to move beyond fears, to resist temptation, to be honest, and to see through any facades. It's good stuff, mostly. What we want to avoid, and we don't even see it in this illustration, but usually there's a pool of water and there's a little lobster coming out. And so sometimes we don't want to look at the scary stuff, the things that make us feel uncertain or afraid. But sometimes we have to. So, for instance, thematically looking at all of this, it could be your retirement savings, your savings for college, your rainy day fund, because we're looking at budgets in general. It's not fun. It's scary. Sometimes you're like, oh, and another bill, and another bill, and another bill. And you put it together. But once you know your number, then you can make choices that lead you to the path of illumination. And you can find things that are going to bring you more abundance, but you have to know where you stand financially sometimes. In relationships, the same thing can go or hold true. And there may be people where you think, I feel more worthy with them, I feel less worthy with them, I feel triggered here. So you can also do a mental, what's the best word for this? It's kind of like you're taking accountability or mental accounting with relationships and see if it adds up. See if it's still a two-way street or if it's just a one-way sort of drain. Oh, he has the lobster on his shirt, which is cool. So it feels like we have the embodiment of that, like the fear, the anxiety. You've owned it, you're going past it, and that's good. One last note. We have two different things here, and there could be like the two thoughts in your head, the two different people in your life that are bringing this forth. Sometimes people expect or want you to do something, and then there's also this instinct. Instinct is really where you want to go, but you don't want to discount common sense or constructive feedback, because those 2 points of view, instinct and information or training, can help us navigate what's often a twisting road. The older you get, the more you realize it's not always cut and dry. It's not always black and white. It's not always from A to Z. Sometimes you have to kind of take the winding road. So that will help you do just that. Let's look at the highlights. Let's look at the challenges, and let's see if there's a general theme, and then we'll move on to the next thing. And it is inventory. Thank you for the word. It was mental inventory. All right, so here's what we're looking at here. Again, one general theme, and again, two of the best days. I would say today's a great day, and Tuesday's a great day. We have people, we have opportunities, resources, and support. And there may just be a lot of things going on in your calendar this week too. And do remember to make time for yourself. But I like Sunday and I like Tuesday. I think the challenging days, the most challenging days, are Monday and Thursday. Monday, you don't have enough to make a decision. Pieces are missing. And you might get caught up in something if you try to agree to something too quickly. So wait, ask for some advice, etc. And then on Thursday, heavy emotions coming through. The most impactful day, honestly, I feel like you can make a difference. You might have to say no or make a decision or sign on the dotted line. Make sure you negotiate on Friday. And I think you'll be happy that you did that in the coming weekend. Pretty great spread overall. I'm going to keep using this particular deck as we go into the next portion, which is the elements. And this, just like it sounds, is a chance for us to drill into fire, earth, air, and water. All right, so I've got a little bit more room on the table. Let's dig in. Fire, earth, air, water. Okay, let's begin with our fire signs. Fire signs. We're starting off with Five of Cups energy here in the reverse position. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, what we have going on here is this momentary sort of pause where sometimes if it's almost like a stormy thoughts in your head, too many things going on at once, and it's difficult to see the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest. So take a step back, take a deep breath, take care of yourself. This is a turning point. So some of you are asking yourself one of two or three things. First, how did I get here? Why am I not a little bit further on that journey? And how come I couldn't see that this was going on? So there's a little bit of, you're being too hard on yourself, some of you. This is also a card of grieving. So we see the 3 spilled cups here. It can be loss, it can be a mistake, it can be regret. These sorts of energies can inform us to not repeat something, but we can't live in them, or they hold us down, hold us back. So absolutely process your emotions, but don't beat yourself up. I really think that if we could take away the word mistake and just replace it with like difficult lesson, it's better. So sometimes we choose a difficult lesson. As long as we learn from it, we're okay. There's something better within reach. There's usually a bridge in the background. So you may also need to move into a different state of mind, being, or even environment. So we see moving on, but it requires this forgiveness. And that's not always talked about. We look at the grieving perspective in the Five of Cups, but not always the forgiveness. If you are feeling lonely, which can be a part of that, remember the 2 days that had people in them, today and also Tuesday. So those would be great days to lean on others, and the sensitivity that I was picking up on Thursday. So those days are going to be the most sensitive for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, but you had great cards throughout the week. So trust in your ability. Don't beat yourself up. There's no mistake as long as you've learned. And the 2 cups behind this person can represent friendship, counsel, or something that's worth celebrating. Okay? So moving onward from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is actually perfectly aligned with the special topic because this represents a past event. It can be recent or deep. Oftentimes it's deep. That creates a little bit of lack of confidence, lack of trust. And it's like this feeling of I don't want to put myself out there again because I just keep getting the same sort of pattern or rejection. So when that happens, it's a sign to go in a new direction. It's also a reminder that history doesn't have to repeat itself. Again, if we learn from the situation, you can pick up the signs and the signals and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this instead. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't sell yourself short. And if there's someone in your life that needs too much, like you can't help them on every level because they're not ready to help themselves, this is when boundaries are necessary. Because this can be someone who consistently thinks that the world is out to get them. And I do think that one thing, particularly thematically speaking with our special topic today, is to see life happening for and with you, not to you. So you're a co-creator in your reality. And maybe this is the awakening to it. So now that you have that understanding, I co-create, I coexist with all of these things. They are opportunities, lessons, and sort of like even karma. Then I can now start to navigate it without feeling like it's not going to get better. Remember the mental image of the slippery slope. It actually applies to the last 2 signs. So whether you're in the 5 of Cups or the 5 of Pentacles reversed, reminds me of, I hear Florence and the Machine in my head, but like it's always darkest before the dawn. So if we didn't know every morning that the sun comes back up, those last few minutes of the night sometimes are overwhelming. So don't let those last few minutes before dawn get to you too much. And as I say that, I'm okay, but I feel like this inner, it's almost like I can feel the tear ducts activate. So for some of you, just know you've got this. I get it. It's a heavy energy. It's a heavy week. This could just also be about money. And we've all been through ebbs and flows in money, unless you're really fortunate. And it does get to the core of you but realize that it is just a physical thing. We need it to survive. Absolutely. But it doesn't actually define you. You define you, and you start to open up new paths and opportunities based on that feeling. Maybe not overnight, but it starts to happen. So we're going to work on that alchemy today, and we have to believe in that for it to work, okay? Take care of yourselves. I can feel the heaviness of emotion with the past two cards. It's an interesting place in the world that we're in right now. There's a lot going on. Love yourself, spend time with people that you love, and just take a few deep breaths. And we're going to get into opportunities in the other part of this reading. So in the meantime, hopefully that helps. The last thing here is it's just time to look at the budget. There could be something that isn't worth it. That's it. It's just like a little bit of a wake-up call, and better to sort of like address it now than allow it to tap you from your time, energy, and resources in the long run. All right, let's go to the air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I feel like this is the first card in a few weeks that feels really good here. There's been a couple of challenging cards over the past couple of weeks. This looks great. We have the Six of Swords, moving on, moving up, moving out, moving in general. So if there was if there were any parts of your life that were experiencing stagnation, it is dissipating now. And sometimes there's just a decision. I'm ready, or I'm done, or I want this, or let's go. Like it's something like that, speaking it, using mantra, using prayer, but we see this onward and upward sort of journey. It is also a card associated with grieving and loss, but in a much more active way. And it's like, I'm moving on. So the Four of Swords is you're putting it to rest. The Six of Swords is you're actively rowing the boat and moving forward. The Five of Cups is grieving. Death happens like this. Judgment, you're on the other side. So with this, you're somewhere in the middle of the process. It's not all going to be perfect this week, but I feel like many of you have made a decision to move forward, or to physically move. And it feels right. It feels right. Traveling is absolutely connected with this. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, if you want to travel. In fact, not just for fun, but maybe to research something, to decide if you want to work, move, or live somewhere. This is a good time to do just that. And if there's someone in your life that isn't ready to move to that next level with you, it's important to kind of navigate those anchors in your life and think, do I need to address this? Can I try to get this person on board? Because usually there's room in the ship of the Six of Swords for someone to be with you. But you kind of have to think about that. Are they on board or are they not? If not, I kind of need to move on. So movement overall, whatever you need to see move forward, put your 110% into it this week. By the end of the week, you should start to see some progress on that, particularly Saturday, since we actually had like the eye on the prize. Okay? Very good energy. Water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have the Three of Wands, but it is reversed. In the upright position, there is an immediacy and a sort of easiness to this, because typically the Three of Wands character is looking at the horizon and sees the ships coming through. In this particular illustration, it feels like she's rediscovering something. It's sort of like, how did I lose sight of that? Because that is kind of what this is, line of sight. So you've lost sight of something, but you can reclaim it. Also, something is closer than you think. It just is a matter, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, of thinking to yourself, oh, I hadn't thought about that, but why not? Why not? See what the why not stirs up in you. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but think to yourself, is it a fear? Do I need more support? Do I need more time? Or am I just spinning wheels for no reason? Let's do this. It feels like something's closer, but you just need to realign your vision to that, okay? Also a card connected with travel, and you may surprise yourself at your ability to make something happen. And that's good. It's nice to surprise yourself, right? Oftentimes, there are people in your life that can see your potential before you can. And I think for the water signs this week, you could surprise yourself. What Spirit's showing me is like a sprint. And it's sort of like when the second or third person back all of a sudden gets this burst of energy and goes to the finish line. So it's like you're going to catch your second breath, or you're going to make up for lost time, or the speed with which things could happen. It just surprises you. So be open to a happy surprise, and make sure you're looking in all directions, okay? She is looking in her magic spell book here. So for some of you, it may help to do some research online or to connect with some people, because you could get inspired. It could help inform the next movement or choice in your life, okay? Very nice. That was a nice way to summarize and end everything there. Okay, now, folks, we're going to look at the special topic. And just so I read it exactly as written, it is self-worth, net worth, and abundance. So we're going to try to open up passages to all of the aforementioned and see what we can do for you. Let me see which deck of cards is calling to me. While I'm selecting that, a quick reminder, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, I hope you do, by the way, a quick way to show some support is by subscribing. It's free. You can also give back, and I will say thank you to those who do that at the end. You can leave a super sticker, super chat. You can also become a member, and I'm going to be doing something in the coming week. I put a post up last week doing topics that never get chosen. So we may do a few. We'll see how that goes. Or I may just decide to break it out into a couple videos over the next couple of weeks before I move. So I don't know where I'm moving yet. I'm looking into that. But I will be moving next month. So more to come on all of that. All right, let's get into the special topic. And I'm going to select a deck. I actually want to use the last unicorn again. This is fun. It's magical. I think this is the right one for today. It's hard to shuffle, but it's a fun deck to use. And thank you to everybody that's giving some stickers right now. I see you. I appreciate you. And for the memberships that you're gifting, thank you. All right. Let's see what's going on. All right, if you just joined, perfect timing. And remember, this is all available on replay later. All live streams are. Close your eyes, reconnect with the image of the sort of rising sun. Imagine that it's creating a ray of light around your body and connecting you to source energy. Your angels, your spirit guides, your ascended masters are present. I'm going to do my best to bring all of the messages forth for everybody that's present, whether live or on replay. All right. This is a really pretty deck. This is one, when I moved and lost all my stuff, I'm like, I have to repurchase this one. It's not cheap, but it's beautiful. It inspires me to rewatch the movie, which I haven't seen in ages. Okay, let's begin with the catalyst. So again, the special topic is helping us see the complicated tapestry that is self-worth, net worth, and the general energy of abundance. Interesting. Okay, so bittersweet. Sometimes when we get what we want, it's anticlimactic, meaning that it's either not as much or there was more of a cost associated with it. And what I get with this is we're going back to the energy or the imagery that I got at the beginning, which is drink in each and every moment. And if I could go back to a younger version of myself, what I would say is don't sweat the small stuff. Don't worry about this meeting. Don't worry about what a coworker or a classmate or a neighbor says. Don't also spend too much time going down a path that doesn't feel right for you. There is this understanding of you have to live a life that feels right and feels happy for you. And when we rush to a milestone or when we go down a slippery path that isn't really one that we want to do, it's not as fulfilling. It's bittersweet. So to help us navigate better, let's not beat ourselves up. Going back to what I said in the elemental portion, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to have regrets. Let them inform now so that you make better decisions next. No one on this planet is perfect. If they say they are, go in another direction. We are all capable of expansion and learning, and most of us make mistakes. So be kinder to yourself. I have to keep kind of hammering that one in. And if something is bittersweet, if you're like, all right, this isn't all that I wanted, now you know. Now you know. Now you know, and now you can make, again, a better decision. It's okay. There also could just be something really good happening combined with something challenging. So now let's look at like the best possible read of this card, which is, let's say you just accomplished a goal, but also in your life there might be someone who's going through pain. Maybe you lost someone that you love. Maybe you see something in the world and that upsets you. You can experience two things at once. You can feel that sense of accomplishment and joy and then feel a little bit of pain and frustration that someone else is going through something. So it could just be a mix of the two. All right, so give yourself permission to feel, use the feelings to inform, and then we'll strategize as we look at this spread to see how to make it all come together. Okay. What's going on, folks? Let's take a look here. I'm happy that there's no devil or tower energy. I think overall it's pretty manageable. So I'm not going to panic, and neither should you. This is the most difficult moment right now, whatever it is that you might be going through. So the center of the spread, we have 3 of Swords. What I just mentioned, the bitter part, comes through. Disappointment in yourself, disappointment in others, frustration in the world, pain in the body, a loss of someone that you love. Again, these things happen. This is life. There's always going to be like a thorn or a prick on that rose. So that's what this is. It's one of those little difficult patches that many of us are getting through. But it isn't the general trend of this spread, because I quickly looked and I'm like, I like where it's headed. So you will get past this. You will get through this. You will grow because of this, whatever the challenge is in front of you. This could just be a time to take better care of yourself. So physically, if we look at the 3 of Swords, it's about making sure that you're happy and healthy and that your heart is pumping in the right way. So exercise, diet, and self-care. And then all the sort of other things that we talked about when it comes to feeling things, making sure that you're getting the support that you need to transmute and to release any heavy emotions. But many of us are going through a moment. That's okay. Because on this particular spread, just like what I was seeing in the weekly spread, 10 of Pentacles. I believe this was Tuesday. You can go back and rewind to make sure. But we have the 10 of Pentacles here. And in this deck, we're looking more at the success, accomplishment, achievement, contractual and money-oriented energies around the 10 of Pentacles. So I do feel like for some of you, there could be frustration over money, or there could be success with something else challenging going in your life. So we'll do our best to balance the two, but I like that this is showing me you are worth more than the present experience, and you have support if you can reach out and connect with it. And if you don't, you might be able to find a resource, because this is a resourceful card, literally. And this is good. This is a good transmuting energy. So seek out resources if you don't have them, tap into them if you do, finish what you've started, and know that for those of you that have worked hard and have reached a moment where things are going well, drink it in, be present, like we've been talking about. All right, deep past. I see success in the past for some of you and independence. And I see a shift going on here. So it feels like you're en route to better days, but there could have been something that, like there's a recalibration going on here from the 9 to the 7. And the 7 is a little stretched when it comes to resources, 7 of Pentacles. So here's your first challenge. You're used to doing it on your own. The 9 of Pentacles is fiercely independent. You can't always do it on your own. There are times when you actually need assistance with things. So if you're in one of those moments, there's nothing wrong with leaning into that assistance. It's a slow working card. 9 of Pentacles, it doesn't go as quickly as you would like. And the crowning position, the 7 of Pentacles, is usually a card of impatience. And so you need to be patient with yourself. It took time to get where you're at. It will take time to move in a new direction. Slower steps are actually going to be better because you'll make smarter decisions as you move forward. What I do like about this, though, is if you were able to do it before, you can do it again. No matter what your present situation is. You did it before, you can do it again. And if you didn't do it before, you have the potential to do it now. It just won't happen necessarily as quickly as you would like. I'm going to pull the 2 traditional cards while we're talking just for comparison. But a couple of other things with this one. I think that you may need a little bit of time initially to sort it out. Okay, I got the first one. I'll just take my time finding the other one in a second. But there's the snail. There's this sort of independence. And some of you are like, before I move forward, I need to just be on my own and soak this in a little bit and decide, how do I feel? What do I want? Fair enough. Here's the growth impatience that I was talking about. So we have independence and impatience and this sort of feeling like, okay, it's taking longer than I thought. Again, bridging them together is the 10 of Pentacles. There could be someone that can open up a door for you. We have the Sun in recent past. The Sun is the inner child coming out. So for some of you, the 3 of Swords and the Sun are connected, which is love yourself, nurture yourself, be the maternal and paternal energy that you may or may not have in your life, but just do it for yourself. This is also a birthing card and a playful card. So if you can have a sense of humor, I know, easier said, but if you can have a sense of humor about your situation, whatever it might be, this often can assist. And the other thing when I'm kind of tuning into this card is, so I'm thinking of like how a child has to learn to articulate their words. You may want or need some assistance in articulating what it is that you're going through. So you could lean on the support of someone else to help you communicate that. Or you could just keep trying because it takes time to kind of like develop this. I feel like you're in a developmental stage for something. It's so if you're trying to birth or launch or create something like a baby, it needs time before it can be birthed. And then also like the skills of language, you have to learn the essentials or get all the building blocks together before you can build on top of that. So premature. I'm getting premature with the baby and with the 7 of Pentacles. And we're not looking at a lot of time. Like in the realm of a week, it might be, you might need another 3 days. So it's past the 7 days. So like 10 days. If we're looking longer term, it might be weeks or months, but within this year, just not as fast as you want. So the birthing is happening, but the sort of like maturation or the ability for it to stick the landing, that's going to take just a little bit longer. And when we're dealing with things like our health or our money, it's not Jack and the Beanstalk. There are moments, few and far between, when you hit the jackpot or you get the lotto, but there's a lot of times where you don't get the jackpot or you don't hit the lotto. So it's better not to kind of like do the gambling version of that. Instead, just say slow, steady, predictable. And it will grow, and it will grow back. This is especially true for those of you that may be dealing with debt or health problems. You have the capacity and the wherewithal to rebuild. That's what I get with this. And for everyone else, there is growth, but it's not as fast or as much as you want, but it's happening. With a plant, a lot of times you have to put down deep roots first. So I feel like getting a firm grip on the situation and really firm root in the situation is important. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's look at your near future. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Yay, okay. So everything we just talked about, which is requiring a little bit of recalibration as we went through it, it's worth it. The Knight of Pentacles, not as fast as Knight of Swords, is still a knight, and it represents forward momentum. So interestingly enough, knights often go out on these sort of journeys on their own. So the next step may be one where you're, maybe for the first time in a moment, you're doing something on your own. Maybe you're newly single. Maybe you're graduating. Maybe you're retiring. It could just be going into the unknown, and it feels lonely. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're literally on your own, but I'm getting this sense of, can I do it? You can do this. Remember, you're not alone if you don't want to be. At the very least, you have the community here, but also reach out and find new people in your life that can help. They can help direct you as well. But I get this need to sort of veer in a new direction. I think it could be good if you're ready. For everyone else, it's just charging forward when you're also feeling like, I do have the wherewithal to say what I want. I am ready for this. When you are, it's like pushing the start button in a car or turning the keys in the ignition. Sometimes that's all it takes is the decision, okay, let's do this. So focus on getting to that point where you're ready to do it, because then I think life starts to get exciting. Moving could be necessary as well for all of this, okay? Let me take another drink and then we're going to talk about you, which is, I really like what we have here with the Queen of Wands. This is an unusual Queen of Wands. Instead of a typical wand, she has like a wooden spoon. She's cooking up something great. That is what a Queen of Wands can do. She's magic. I would say she's the witchiest card next to the High Priestess. Because if you normally look at it, I'll see if I can grab it while we're talking, but she's in the desert. Nothing should be growing, but it is. And there's like sunflowers everywhere, and there's usually geckos and lizards associated with this deck. So lots of power, but she's more the sunflower. The gecko and lizard is for her partner. But here we go. Black cat, instinct, intuition, trust it. Recently, because of the eclipse, the full moon, all the cosmic stuff going on, I've been getting a lot of downloads from future me. So you wonder why I put the time traveling telegram advice from a future you. I get advice from a future me all the time. So one thing that I read it recently, I think it was in Scientific American or something or whatever. There was an article on thoughts. Thoughts are electrical impulses in our brain. Energy doesn't die, it just changes form. But energy also can be accessed at any place in the timeline. So a memory, whether it's a past life memory or a future memory, if you tune in, sometimes you can access it. So the instinct card here is like the good stuff. Usually what I see are problems and opportunities. I don't see all the sort of mundane stuff, but if there's something that is problematic, it makes such an impact on the future version of myself that I feel it. And that's what intuition is sometimes in your own brain. You are remembering a future thought. Wrap your head around that. Or you're accessing a future thought and how you feel in your body. So if you feel really, really good, oh, I'm excited, something great is happening. Sometimes you just get this feeling that something good is going to happen. If you're making a mistake, you feel this sense of, uh-oh, and that's all it is. You're accessing the sort of like it's always out there, but past and future you can help you triangulate your space. That's why I'm not moving right now. Future me said, don't do it right now. I'm moving, but I'm not moving out of the country. It was like, it isn't the right time. So I listened. I was surprised, but it came through, and I trust my instincts when I get them. So when you get these sort of downloads, don't second guess yourself. Say, okay, I can change course if I need to. It's not too late to do something. She makes it happen. So she is you are the sun, because we have the sun coming through for you. And then we have the sunflower, which follows the sun. You're leading, not following. She's a leader too. Sunflowers are heliotropic. They follow the light of the sun. If you've ever had one, you'll notice throughout the day, it does this and this until it finally just, becomes seeds. But lead, don't follow. Like I said, she's in the desert, a place of magic, but she is rich. She is supported. She is capable of making things happen. So are you. Within. And for some of you now, if we go back to the last unicorn here, it's about cooking up something new. So her stew that she's making, that's your chance to sort of say, let's put together something different, something new. Let's mix it up a little bit. And it might be time to mix things up a little bit. I think that's everything for this. That was a lot. This is a card of leadership, creation, intuition, and innovation. So this is a moment not to rinse and repeat. Those of you that are chefs, first of all, hats off to you. But when you are a great cook, you know that there is a level of alchemy and experimenting that happens with it. You're like, do a little this, a little this. I had my mom's mom was a great baker, and she made great pastries and all that stuff. But when you tried to get her to put a recipe, she's like, I don't know, a little of this, a little of this. She eventually would measure it out so she could pass on some of it to her children and grandchildren, but it was instinctive. She just kind of knew how much. There are certain things you can't fake with baking, like you need a certain amount of baking powder, baking soda, or a certain time in the oven. But there were other things where she's like, you can do this, you can fudge this, or whatever. So when you cook, you can experiment. When you're creating something in your life, you can experiment a little bit. A degree of that is good. I always like to change things up. I think it's fun. All right, in your environment, interesting. Okay, so when I first saw this card was reversed, by the way, but I like the illustration here. He's chasing an old high. This is a skeleton that has no body, that obviously enjoyed drinking. And in his spiritual sort of state here, in the skeletal state, he's still trying to drink, but it's not going anywhere. So when I see this interpretation of the Nine of Cups, it's chasing an old endorphin or high or experience that is gone. And that's okay. But we don't need to chase it. What used to work won't work now. So it's time to reimagine and allow yourself to experience a different kind of energetic high. Okay, this is also a card of extreme highs and lows, speaking of high. So in this moment in time, it is important not to make a decision when you're feeling super emotional, or because this is in the environment where someone in your life may be super emotional. And by the way, it is an addiction card, so there could be someone around you that is challenged with an addiction. It can literally be drinking, but it can be any sort of addiction. So we want to avoid highly emotional people, highly charged situations. We want to avoid making a decision when we're feeling highly charged or emotional. And we want to not lose sight of the positive aspect of this card, which is wish fulfillment. So if we go now to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, it's happiness, celebration. You can get what you want. We talked about the timeline could be different, but you can get what you want. You may have to reach out to some support of someone else to make it happen, but I feel like accomplishment or fulfillment or happiness, it's within reach. But you have to sort of like feel it, believe it, and also just take a moment to slow down. The bittersweet part of this also can be connected. So you may be feeling the two emotions at once, and that's what the Nine of Cups reversed is. That's why I read reversals. So it's saying, I'm here, but I'm also here. And sometimes that happens. There are also points where we have mixed emotional cues. So It's been a long time since I watched the movie. I think it was called Inside Out. Is that it? It's the Disney one where there's the different characters in the head, and sadness gets a bad rap, but it's an important piece because sometimes, even talking about sadness or thinking of that movie makes me want to cry. But sometimes we can experience both, or we have to be really sad to understand the very happy moments too. So, like, I think back to graduation, and when I was fine, I was happy, but I remember like a person in front or behind me was crying. We were both happy in different ways, but we were also grieving that something had just happened. Like, we're done with this and I don't know what's next. If I could go back and say, oh my God, buckle your seatbelt. It's going to be an interesting ride. You have no idea. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. But there are other points like a funeral where you can laugh and cry because you're remembering someone, and then it's a combination of the two. I'm accessing it partly because of that silly movie, partly because I'm talking about emotional stuff, but you can feel the two at once. So let's all breathe together so I can move on. Better. And you might need to do that. You might need to meditate. Also let it out. I just can't do that while I'm doing the reading because I got to keep moving on. But I'm feeling the combination of the two. You can have them both at once. It doesn't make you unusual or, anything wrong with that. It's just saying there's a lot. So that's why it's important not to make a major decision until you've processed those joint emotions. I still feel it, but I got to move on. Okay. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the King of Swords and the Three of Cups in reverse. Let's talk about the King of Swords first. He keeps making appearances today, doesn't he? He's upright. So resolute is the word that comes through, which I don't use all the time. Very clear on when, where, and how, and follows through. When a door opens, walk through it. When destiny calls, answer. Whatever metaphor you want to choose. It feels like you need to act quickly and appropriately and accordingly. And don't get in your headspace, because we were talking about the self-worth piece. If you have a way to accomplish something or move past something, you have earned it, you deserve it, and history doesn't have to repeat itself. Your voice, your vision, your actions are making an impact. Now is a time to really lean into all of the aforementioned. Okay? Three of Cups, reversed. There could have been something that someone said, because it's combined with the King of Swords, where it got beneath your skin. It's in hopes, fears, and opportunities, so it could still be on the horizon. Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe take it with a truck of salt, depending on the source. Because upright, we love the Three of Cups. Reversed, it's gossip. And it's being exclusive or in a clique or somehow doing something or saying something that you shouldn't. So if someone cuts through and kind of gets to your heart space, because everything else here is pretty good, but if someone says something and it hurts you, it might simply be because they're jealous. It might simply be because it's like the Mean Girls, like that movie where she says, you're pretty. And she's like, oh, thank you. Oh, you think you're pretty? Like mind games, stuff like that, right? So we're just not going to let that happen. Because you're your own queen in your own right, which is at the end of the movie, they realize they could all be that, right? If you see someone on the outside, be inclusive. Ask how they're doing. I think back to like when my family moved from the West to the East, because I went to school on the East Coast. But the first day of school, like in the third grade, I didn't know anybody except a neighbor. But then also, like on the bus, I couldn't hang around that neighbor all the time. There was someone who just came over and said, hi, I'm such and such, welcome. And we never were really friends after that, but like he introduced me to a couple people. He said, you're the new guy. How you doing? Just an outgoing person that made sure that I didn't feel like I was on the outside. Sometimes you have to be that person for someone else. So invite them to your table or say hello. Smile at someone. These little things, like I remembered them my entire life. the friend that taught me how to ride a bike, or the person on the bus that shook my hand because I was having a tough day. Those things are important. So you're not alone. And if you're in a good place where you're not feeling alone, make sure someone else isn't either. You don't owe them anything past that interaction. Just say, hey, you should go talk to this person. Like, you could be the connector. You don't have to be their everything. So if you can be that for someone else, especially if you see that they're being ostracized or they're on the outside, bring them in. Hey, welcome. Where are you from? What you doing? What's going on? So just kind of break the ice if you can for someone. They may be on the outside looking in. It feels good. We all need it occasionally. We all need that outgoing, gregarious person coming forth to make you feel like you're not alone. Knight of Cups. It's finally in the upright position. So the heaviness of emotion that I've been picking up on, I actually feel like that's the biggest challenge for many of you. I'm now okay, but some of these cards, some of these moments, I'm feeling it. So know that you're going to get through this. I saw the slippery slope. Say that 5 times fast. I saw that slope that's going to take a little bit of maneuvering. What I also saw in the vision was periods of rain and periods of like it subsiding. So you want to sometimes wait for that moment. That's why I think when, again, Destiny Calls answer this week in particular. What we do see here is the light at the end of the tunnel, the silver lining. Love, support, happiness, this feeling like I did it. And I do feel like you can do it. Maybe you just need that sort of like vote of support because you are on the outside of that 3 of Cups, or you are processing the 3 of Swords, or you are trying to make something happen before it's ready. Like I said, it can't be half baked. That's the other thing that the Queen of Wands here is saying. It has to be fully baked. You have to be ready. It has to be ready. We are not rushing this week. Everything in due time. That is the big takeaway. Don't rush. Take your time, take care of yourself, process your emotions. And because you have some really powerful cards, Queen of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, you're moving in the right direction. There's just some stuff around you that might be causing a little bit of this bittersweet energy that we picked up at the beginning. Why don't we expand this forecast and go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny? If you just joined or you're watching and you're like, I really like this, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. You can also give back in any way, shape, or form. Those little things help a lot, believe it or not. And if you're just on replay, go ahead and make sure that you subscribe as well, or like, or leave a comment. Okay, now let's move on to health, mind, body, and spirit. All right, let me just get to the right graphic here. So I'll find it in a second. So for health, we have the snake, which is a very interesting card because it represents a moment in time where you might be encouraged, here it is, I was on the wrong screen, to shed your skin. Something that you did before is constricting or restrictive or won't allow you to grow. Snakes are able to grow because they can shed their skin. It's not always fun or easy, but it's necessary. Shedding your skin in health could be shaking an old habit, whatever that habit might be. Nicotine, caffeine, sugar, I don't know, whatever it is for you. We're shaking that habit. It's also, maybe you have outgrown a person, place, or environment, and you are shedding that from your life so that you can grow. The snake can also be temptation, if we go back to myths and religions. So we want to watch out for the temptations, watch out for the addictions, watch out for the gossip. All of that stuff is coming through as not being healthy. It's a Kundalini awakening for some of you, so if you are going down a spiritual path, the snake represents the coil of energy from the base of your spine to your crown chakra, and it's saying, great time for yoga, meditation, and spiritual development. It's a very deep symbol that it can comprise all of those things. But I saw it and I was like, time to shed your skin. Something's constricting you. Because I even saw like the snake wrapping itself around something. Okay, we're looking at health. Less is more with the 9 of Cups. Don't overdo anything, whether it's exercise or diet changes. Everything has to... Remember, we're not going fast this week. We're going slow. Slow is better. Slow is the lesson from the 9 of Pentacles. Again, if I can find the original illustration here, we have the little snail at the bottom. And so someone was asking earlier, what's the bird? There's always a bird in this one. It can represent, first of all, luxury in this particular illustration, but also messages. Listen to your instincts. Listen to the messages from afar and above. This one's a butterfly or a moth. So we also see transformation. Change takes time. So when you change your diet or exercise routine, tomorrow doesn't look or feel much different. Maybe you start to feel a little cleaner energetically, but you start to notice things 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks down the line. Someone says, you look different. What have you been doing? Then the results show. So don't rush. Slower is better because you're going to be able to keep the momentum of the changes in your life, whatever they might be, including financial. Whatever changes you do, you start to make small changes. Pregnancy or birth with the Sun card. Be mindful if you are pregnant, especially if you're in the final months of the pregnancy. Don't work yourself too hard, because I mentioned premature. So we don't want, it could be false labor pains, or we don't want to like trigger the pregnancy before it's ready. I'm not a fearful person. That's why we're just talking about like taking care of yourself. We want to avoid the stress that is this. Okay? If you're looking to get pregnant, you might get pregnant. That's good. Other things that we're looking at here, gentle recovery. As someone who has broken bones, like I've said before, it takes time. The cool thing with a broken bone or a broken heart is that one day you just notice it's stronger. You can bear more weight on it, that you can take the brace off or whatever. So I wouldn't push yourself too much, whether you're working or you're trying to recover. Know your limits. Don't lean on things like caffeine or energy drinks or nicotine, because they are greedy. They take more from your body than they give you in that momentary rush. Do more cooking. She's actually making soup here, it looks like, which is good. So maybe look into soup, salads, different kinds of, I mean, that's the lightest form of cooking that you can do. You just put some stuff in water and watch it boil. So even for those of us that don't like to cook, usually we can boil some pasta or something. So see what you can cook up in your life from a better dietary perspective, versus eating out because you can control the ingredients. Like salt, and I'm seeing a salt shaker. Some of you have too much salt. And that's pretty much it. Okay, let's move on. Moving on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. We have an interesting symbol coming through for that. The fly. Frustration, survival, impurity. Okay. As I said, some of us are just at a point where it's like, why? Why now? Why me? It's fine to ask those questions. I'd like you to follow them up, though, with what next? What and how? Because the how, we can infer from that there is a way. How can I address this? What will I do next? Is it the 5 W's that you ask yourself? Who, what, when, where, or why? How? So yeah, we need to go in journalism school. You have to go to the deeper probing questions. So that came back up. It's been a minute. So ask yourself those deeper probing questions beyond that feeling of frustration. Sometimes we have to just get by, but we want to move beyond the survival, beyond the sort of like 5 of Pentacles moment where you're breaking even. So either reduce costs if you can, or increase revenue, or taking sort of stock of all the different inventory of the people in your life. If they're people that are zapping you, separate yourself from that so that you aren't in that fight or flight or survival mode. This is really interesting. I mean, it's a fly, so flies tend to go to rotten and smelly things sometimes. So the fly is calling our attention to something impure. I feel like it's in the environment because it's like right by the 9 of Cups. And the 3 of Cups is above that. It's really, really, really important to avoid doing something that you know is wrong, hanging out with people that are trying to convince you to do the same, and allowing your emotions to get the better of you. Briefly looking at this, because this is, maybe this we'll lean into it a little bit more, but we need to look at all the different aspects of wealth here. So we're going to start off with those of you that are currently employed. The bittersweet thing is interesting. Like I said, you may have accomplished something amazing, but there's something about where you're at that you don't like. I know that the final thing that I was doing in corporate, I was like, this isn't what I signed up for. I wasn't doing creative work anymore. So I knew I needed to move on for my own creativity. So it was bittersweet, successful, but not fulfilling. Sometimes we accomplish that. You can have both. Allow that to help you decide what next. If you are, like I said, trying to make ends meet, it takes time to get into this. It'll take time to get out. I think the important thing here is research and reach out. I do see you turning a positive sort of page here when it comes to your finances, but a little bit of change is necessary. And moving away from overindulgence or overspending is necessary. One thing that I just did, I wasn't watching some streaming services. And so I was like, I'm just going to cancel everything. And I got all these offers for like $2 a month or a free month. And like, I was like, okay, you got me for a month or two, but then I'm going to cancel. So don't be afraid to call and get a better offer on some of the things if you need to. But if there's things in your life that you're not using, cut them out. There might be a way to make your wealth go further by getting rid of some of these things that are a waste of time anyway and a waste of money. So look into that. I think that that heaviness that I was picking up on and feeling like tears. For some of you, there's frustration. Nine of Cups and Three of Cups reversed. Clicks and stress and unhappiness. You could be successful, but there's like icky energy in the environment, whether it's leadership or coworkers or just where you're having to work. I get it. This can help inform what you want to do next. Again, we're looking at the long term. Many times we have to kind of move through something. When I had that corporate job, I was like, I wanted to leave immediately, but I had to work 2 more years. It was a long 2 years. There are times when we just have to do what's necessary. But I knew what I wanted eventually, and that helped me get strategic. And every day that I had a bad day during those 2 years, and there were quite a few, I would open up my banking account and say, okay, well, I paid off some bills. Okay, so let's just go to this meeting. Let's deal with this, and let's go take a walk and not let it get to me. It's helping me get through something that I need, and I don't have to be here forever. But sometimes you have to be there for now, okay? So I get it. You can't always make the immediate change, but what you can do is recontextualize the situation. This person isn't worth it. I probably won't think about them in 5 years. They're just trying to drama and trauma dump on me. I don't need to take it all. I can just say, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to focus on this. And like, you can just reset. You don't have to get you don't have to absorb it all. You're not a sponge. I think that's the most important thing for those that are employed. Don't let it get the better of you. What I like is your ability to work well with others. The creative energy from the Knight of Cups. The leadership qualities that are presenting themselves. There could be a glass ceiling. And like I said, we are in a time where I will not advise you to just jump ship because it's a weird environment. I have friends that are, they've been looking for a long time. And, money doesn't go as far as it used to because of the weird economy right now. So you might have to navigate, but use this time to strategize and to figure out where next and what you want to do in the next chapter. And like I said, find a way to find the silver lining. It could be in hanging out with your friends, doing things that you like, traveling a little bit, or just focusing on, remember the little boy that, let's see if it's on the floor, but like the eye on the prize. I'm doing it because of this, because of my children, because of my health, because of my future. And I'm going to get through this moment, this month, this week. Take it a week at a time. We're doing this every week, so it could shift by next week. But this week, the encouragement is don't lose track of your goals. Thankfully, most of these cards look good. We don't have a Tower. We don't have a Devil. We don't have a Ten of Swords. We have a Three of Swords, which, let's face it, like work sometimes feels like the Three of Swords. So I get it. You can navigate this. You can navigate this. Find some sweetness for the sour. Okay. Entrepreneurs. It's an interesting time for entrepreneurs. Right now is challenging, but you're on the precipice of something good with this 10 of Pentacles. Balancing the books is necessary. Get out that Excel sheet, look at what you need. We're looking at like a 30% delta or difference between where you want to be and where you are. So you'll have to make some choices like, how can I save that 20 to 30%? And it could be, in the distributor for a certain product that you're getting, like, well, I'll go with this other one. It could be the timeline that you're going to ship or deliver something. All right, instead of Q4, it's going to be Q1 of next year. So we have to look at those sorts of things and get creative. It can be done though, but there has to be some adjustments. Anything that you can do to celebrate success with yourself and with whatever kind of team you might have is important, because it will help you get through any challenges that are in front of you. I do like that the Knight of Pentacles is in the future, near future. I do like that the Knight of Cups is here. So a little bit of temporary sacrifice or strain or it's not even reorganization. It's just saying, I got to move this to this quarter. I've got to pull back a little bit on this. We're going to take this feature and release it in the next release. You're going to get creative with that so that you have enough to get to this next step. So budgeting and planning and looking beyond the week. I'm seeing quarters in my head. So we're looking at 3 to 6 months for you to kind of like make it happen. But you can make it happen. It's a better spread than usual. We're not seeing all the challenges, but some choices need to be made, okay? And really people are looking for you to instill the confidence. You have to be the Queen of Wands here. You have to show them how. And then the communication has to be clear, King of Swords, because they already know what's going on. So just say, here's our challenge, here's our solution, or here's some things that I need from you, or I'm open to some feedback here, but like just get it moving in that kind of direction. All right. If you're looking for work, I get it. We've got the Three of Swords. Like I said, it's a challenging time. I listen enough to the news too that I think it's preposterous, frustrating, and the exact opposite of literally human resources to have computers and AI read. So like what's happening right now is a lot of times AI is scanning the resumes and people are using AI to create. So it's AI talking to AI. No wonder there's frustration. It's not like back in the day where you could just walk into an office and give them, although if you have a contact, if you know a way to make contact with a human, clearly that's going to be better for job seeking. Because otherwise, I feel like it's just like Star Wars beeps and blips, the computer's talking to each other, but nothing happening, right? So get creative. Definitely get creative and see if you can work the network. That's this. Again, I watch enough news and read enough information and I talk to my friends. I also know job fairs are a joke right now. A lot of times there's not hiring there. This isn't a job fair. This is people that you know. So a friend or a family member that works somewhere. And maybe you don't normally ask them favors, but you may say, hey, could you get my resume in or could you put a word in for me? Especially if they like you and they like if it's mutual, like, yeah, no worries. Lean on that. It's who you know right now more than anything else. And we can sometimes find ourselves in a spiral with the Nine of Cups reversed. I really would love for you to connect with others during that moment. Talk to someone, let them know what your frustration is, friend, family member, etc. If you're looking for a when, a where, etc., you actually have a couple of options coming through here. I mentioned slow and steady, so we don't want to rush into these. So this night is right by the Nine of Cups reverse, so I would really pay attention to the work environment, the stress in the environment too. This one is connected to the Three of Cups, so one of them is it's difficult to feel like you fit in. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Something fell. The other one, it just may be some increased sensitivity or negativity. So we want to be mindful of the two things together because it could be bittersweet. I get it. Sometimes we just need whatever's in front of us, but pay attention to what's coming through with that. And from a time perspective, It could take the entirety of the week, the Seven of Pentacles. Slow and steady, okay? Students, it's interesting because we're kind of kicking it off with the bittersweet. I know that for me, like, I don't know if I shared this, but midway through both of my degrees, actually, I thought to myself, this isn't everything that I thought it would be. And as a result, I'm like, I want to get out sooner and just get out into the world and save myself some money. I feel like historically, this was more true of people at the end of last century and the beginning of the 2000s, but you needed a certain degree to open certain doors, but now degrees don't even necessarily equate to that. But sometimes when you're going through it, you're like, I think I might need to pivot. So when I did it in the undergraduate, I was like, I'm halfway through, I'm finishing. And I'm glad I did. But if you're 1/4 of the way through and you're like, maybe I want to change majors or maybe I want to do this, look at it. Look and see look at the cost analysis of it, the time and the energy of it. For me, I liked enough of what I was doing. I was like, no, I'll just finish. And I'm going to change my focus from this to this. I'll take some electives here. And then I'm going to do a study abroad opportunity. I'm just going to reorganize it. And then when I was in grad school, I realized it's just because it was a sign of the times. I think it's true now too. So I was at the beginning of the internet. So I had to learn a lot on my own because professors could teach me how to write or how to edit or how to work with, like, I'm talking both in like words and film, but they didn't know how to use the technology so much. So I would work with grad assistants or with fellow students because we knew more. It's not necessarily true now with that part, but with AI, I feel the same is happening where institutions, because the word institution means structure, they're slow for these emerging technologies. So if you're interested in something different, you may want to look for apprenticeship. You may want to look for a one-on-one sort of thing and then get some sort of certification, of course, but it's more about hands-on expertise than just the degree. And the place that you get it doesn't matter as much as the level of one-on-one. So one thing that I did different with grad school is I chose a smaller teacher-to-student ratio because I did want more one-on-one. But even that wasn't enough. So if I were to go back, I would say seek out a mentorship situation. Get as much education as you want, but maybe get it at a less expensive college because it's more the degree. So get strategic about things like that. It'll save you money. And it's what you can do, not just what you know. Because letters after your name are just that, like your MA, BA, PhD, whatever. But what can you do with it? And as a hiring manager, I wanted to see what you could do with it when I used to work in a corporate environment. So, sorry, we're looking at students. So for students, I want you to think, how is this going to give me real tangible skills? How can I soak in the most and get the most one-on-one experience? And that will help you, okay? Definitely look at the bottom line. It's not just about an expense. Like, finally, I have other challenges in front of me, but like finally, like the student loan is done. But it takes a long time, so make sure that you actually need to pay that. And try to find financial aid if you can. Never underestimate the financial piece of this. I think it's important. If everything's going well, we have a card here, seeking community. So find like-minded individuals, reach out to them, connect. I have 2 nights here, which is great. So we do see that you are soaking in a lot. I do think there are some things that are happy, but if you're at the beginning phase, think about what I talked about. Look into different ways to gain experience in addition to, or even maybe in lieu of, certain sort of training or degree seeking things. You know what I'm talking about. Because it may not be necessary to go as far because it doesn't necessarily mean the same as it used to. All right, retirees. Some of you are soul searching, and there may be this sense of like looking at the world, the state of the world. I'm not retired, but I've lived long enough that I've seen changes that I don't like. I'm like, why are we going in this direction? This is silly. This isn't better than 20, 30, or 40 years ago or 50 years ago. we're going in the wrong direction here. So you could be looking at some of that. You could also just be saying, I'm ready to be happy, which I get behind. So whether you're frustrated at the state of the world or you're just ready for more happiness, we have some ways and means to get that going on. First of all, with the Queen of Wands here, she wants to get inspired. So anything in your life that sparks that sort of inner flame, that's what you really want to focus on. It could be learning, by the way. I don't accidentally put students and retirees together at the end. They're very close because they're in different chapters and they're learning new lessons. So anything that makes you learn or gets you excited. We want to avoid whether it's sort of like numbing the pain or doing things that kind of like ignore it. I would say get out there and mix and mingle, socializing energy. And it could be loneliness because the loneliness card is up here in the corner. So if you are feeling that sense of loneliness or lack of connection, maybe it's just empty nest, then creating some peer relationships right now. Friendships, platonic relationships, volunteer opportunities. That's what I feel like is missing here is there's the loneliness card, then we have this sadness card, but then we have like community right on top of it. So it feels like it's time to connect to some new people, socializing. Okay. I went deeper into that because that's the topic today was like net worth and self-worth, and I wanted to help with that. We're going to sprinkle and go very lightly on love. But let's look at it. For love, we have play, and that nicely connects to what we were just talking about. It isn't just about the love of your life. It isn't just about dating in general. It's saying, I just want to have some fun with some people that I enjoy. So for many of us, we're looking at the playful Three of Cups in the upright position. Also finding a way to just have fun in the rain. All right, it's raining. Let's try to do the best that we can through this. Let's look for the rainbows. Let's enjoy the fact that it's cooled down. Let's jump in the puddles. So anything that you can do to make the best of a challenging situation right now is ideal. All right, briefly looking at the different levels of love and relationships. Let's start with those who are partnered. For those who are partnered, a little bit of both. Like I said, I feel some of you might be A-okay. Like the bittersweet is saying, we're good. Like the Ten of Pentacles here, which is a really good card for partnership. But something else in my life isn't. Or something in the environment isn't. Or something in the world isn't. So there's the bittersweet. For some of you, the relationship may be fine, but the finances are a little rocky and you're working on that. The environment for many of you with the Nine of Cups could represent a person around you that's just really going through a lot, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the partner. So I'm looking at resource challenges, environmental challenges and triggers. And the key thing here is to get these two knights talking. I like that we have two knights. Pentacles and cups speak different love languages. We also have the swords here too, but we have wands. We have one of everything. I take it back. So it's all over the place. Different, but I do get different love language. So meet your partner in the middle, and because I have the two knights and then I have a king and a queen. For some of you, parental energy or grandparent or patriarchal, matriarchal energy could be coming through. So this could be your mom and your dad or your grandma and your grandpa, someone coming into the mix and getting in the middle. Have boundaries in that situation, okay? Ultimately, we have two knights. They're going in the right direction. We just have some trauma, drama, and distractions around them, so make sure to speak. The third party, which is the Three of Cups, again, I feel like it is one of these. It's extended family or someone who doesn't have any business in there. If there is someone from the past, make sure that there's proper boundaries and communication about that past Three of Cups energy. Okay, moving onward to single and looking. If you're single and looking, first and foremost, heal yourself. Three of Swords at the center shows that before anything is possible, you have to do the inner love, the inner healing, the inner calibration that is a part of Three of Swords. It's not fun, but it's necessary. Through existing groups of people, particularly classmates, coworkers, or family, you might be able to meet someone. So if you're open to being set up or to have someone introduce you, that could be a great way to do it. You may also be on a rebound because of the Three of Swords. So again, Three of Cups for the Three of Swords is now it's slightly different. This is saying I'm not ready even to kind of like do that yet. I think just hanging out with friends and socializing, kind of like the retirement message, is also very good for you. You have options though when you're ready. You have many options. What do you want? Do you know what you're looking for? Because with all of the different court cards, like the world's your oyster, but it's not clear what you're looking for just yet. So clarify what it is you're trying to look for next. Is it just fun? Is it dating someone for a while but not getting married? Is it just hanging out? What do you want? When you know what you want, then the universe can provide it a little bit easier. If you know what you want, here's what I see. Okay, the Queen of Wands is attached to Nine of Cups. So there's someone here who's very passionate, but also may be a lot emotionally. We have a King of Swords and a Three of Cups. This is someone who really enjoys going out, a social butterfly who talks a lot. So make sure that that's something that you want. I like both of the Knights better. They just may be a little younger, a little less experienced, a little bit more timid. Knight of Pentacles is busy working on themselves, betterment. The Knight of Cups, just a little shy. You're going to do most of the talking. Like I said, there's a lot of options here. I feel like it's better to slow down and really get tactical if you're single and looking. Single and happy. It's a good time to be single and happy. There might be some health issues that you're working with here. Three of Swords, just focusing on getting healthier and happier, generally speaking. The Ten of Pentacles is interesting because it feels like you're focusing on building up your resources, meeting some new people, and making some strategic new relationships. All of these things bode well. I think even though it's called single and happy, I almost feel like it's glazing things a little bit, because the Three of Swords can be disappointment, and it's okay to like address the disappointment. Nine of Cups in reverse can be using something to help you get over something before you fully process it, and the Three of Cups is more of the same. So take a moment and really just be present. We're going to call it single and present right now. Look at all the options in front of you and weigh out, what do I want? How do I feel? I really want you to go into the feeling portion. I do see recovery and growth, and I think it's a great time to launch something new when you're ready. Okay? We covered everything except destiny, so let's look at destiny. Loneliness, but reversed. I know that I am never alone, but for some reason, I'm having a hard time believing that. So we're finding a way to get connected. That was one of the big things in this very special weekly that will help you with the self-worth piece. But we're looking for kindred spirits, like-minded individuals that share a common set of goals, interests, and standards. That's the best word that I can get. Like people that are going to lift you up, not anchor you down. Particularly for, was it the air signs that got the Six of Swords? We need people that aren't putting too much into that boat so you can continue to move forward. No baggage. All right, so I'd like to pull a reader's choice here before we get into the final portion of this reading. And for the reader's choice, I'm just trying to find the graphic on this one. For the reader's choice, here we go. We want to look at, so we have self-worth, net worth, and abundance. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and then we'll wrap up. It's a longer reading today, but you picked an intense topic, so I figure you come here to hang out. So 1 card for self-worth, 1 card for net worth or opportunities, and then 1 for abundance. Okay. So for self-worth, we have the Six of Wands in reverse. Success is what you make of it. It isn't what you see in a movie, you read in a book, what a teacher or parent wants for you. It's what makes you feel right. It's what makes a difference. Sometimes success is lonely. Sometimes success is bittersweet. But if we reframe it to whatever you want, like it could be this. Success could be making a difference in the world. As long as you make a difference in the world, you're successful. You can do a little bit of that every day. Success could be experiencing love and joy in your life. Okay. Could be having fun. Could be developing your skills. Could be overcoming your fears. It does not have to be accomplishing this by this date to impress this person. Redefine it. Success is learning from your mistakes. It's not giving up. It's choosing to wake up every day and try again, even if it's been challenging the day before. You successfully initiated a new day, and who knows what today could bring, okay? Redefine success for you. And you are worth it, and you are successful. You are capable of it, because I was looking at self-worth, net worth, the moon. Don't be afraid. Also, see through illusions. So in this moon card, they chose to put sorceress, and she's kind of creating a veil. All that glitters isn't gold. And so it is so much better to be happy and to be sustained than to sometimes have all these other trappings of success. So also a little bit of redefining, but seeing through illusions in particular and looking at that fine print when you're getting ready to move forward on something. And then what was the last thing here? Abundance. Speak it into existence. Take action today. Walk the walk, talk the talk. How you speak of yourself has an absolute correlation to how others perceive you. So never say just me, or like when you pick up a phone and someone says, or like, hello, oh, hey, it's just me. No, hi, it's insert your name. Hi, it's Nicholas. What's going on? Never say it's just you. Never apologize for being present. Never apologize for speaking up. Never, when it comes to communication, say this may sound crazy, but stop it. Stop. Just say what you announce yourself when you call someone. State your idea when you have one. Articulate your concern when appropriate. Don't season it with less, because that's what it's just me, or this may sound outlandish, or you may not agree, but stop. Only speak in affirmative or declarative or plain speak. Don't add that into it, because that is taking away your worth. Let them decide if it's just you. That's in their head. But when you speak, it's you. It's your idea. It has value. Go for it. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for showing up today. We're going to meditate now, and then we're going to look at a final card, which can be anything that you're struggling with, okay? Close your eyes. Let go of whatever it is that you're holding on to. I felt the emotions earlier. It's okay to feel the emotions. We're going to work with the rain today, because we never do. I want you to imagine that you're outside and it's raining. And maybe it's the vision that I saw. You're looking at 2 or 3 paths in front of you, and you notice that you can't get up the hill when it's raining because it's slippery. So I want you to wait for a second for this storm to pass. While you're in the middle of the rain, imagine that it's warm, it's not miserable. The rain is refreshing. The rain is cleansing. The rain smells good. You can smell the ozone, you can smell the nitrogen, you can smell the petrichor, you can smell the flowers. The rain is clearing the way. So today, if you need to cry, cry. If you need to laugh, laugh. If things are messy, let them be messy. As you breathe, as you allow the rain to fall, imagine that the sound of it is relaxing and that gently it starts to let up. That in the very far distance, there's a slight break in the storm, and there's a sunbreak, and it's breathtaking. And this ray of light shines through all of the clouds onto your third eye, onto your heart, and you just take a deep breath. Start walking towards the sun because it's dried off the cement enough for you to safely get to higher ground. There may be more rain, but you're going to be on a better path. And as we just learned, the rain can be beautiful. Let it go. All right. Welcome back. I'd like you to think of your final question. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, let's take a look at it. Five of Cups, here we are again. But the Five of Cups in this illustration has the last unicorn in her human aspect facing the two cups. So we successfully got through the rain, at least in the meditation, far enough to help you see the two cups, far enough to help you see the rainbow, far enough to help you see the sun break. It will always rain. There's always going to be a rainstorm, but it always stops at some point. So my kind of takeaway for today is you're going to get through the storm. There is something better. If it's a yes or no, there needs to be a little bit of internal calibration. It's a not yet, comma, until you have had a chance to process whatever it is that you're feeling today, and you've had a chance to look at the good with the bad and say, okay, that happened, but how about this? And it's almost like you're taking the reins to your chariot and saying, I'm driving the ship now and I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm ready. And I hope you are ready. Whew, today was intense. I didn't think it was going to be with the choice, but your guides had a lot to say. So thank you for allowing me to be the channel today. While we're all getting ourselves back together here, again, please subscribe. I can't tell you how much that helps the channel. Hit the thumbs up once, and then when this goes on replay especially, even if you watch the live stream, leave another comment. Let me know what resonated after you've had a couple hours to think about it. These little things are 100% free, and they make a big impact on the channel. If you feel called to do so, you can also give a sticker. You can give back a little bit. It helps me, and if you gift a membership, it helps someone else. So thank you for doing that. To make sure that you never miss out on future videos, and I'm doing a lot more impromptus. I will be doing them this week too, at least one or two, and something with a member's twist to it. So keep an eye out. Follow me on social. It's always the same handle as YouTube, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on the major platforms. Blue Sky mirrors my website. It's nicholasashbaugh.com. That's the handle, and that is my website where you can get official links, information, and news. Apollo's behind us one more time. Let's give him a pat on the head, and then we're going to go into gratitude. Yes, buddy, I'm talking about you. I know, who's a good boy? All right, so one of my favorite points here. We're going to take some time to say thanks. First of all, thanks to everybody who showed up. Whether you're watching it live, on replay, maybe some of you found this 6 months later and it resonated. Whenever you found this video, it was exactly when you needed to, and I'm glad you're here. I'd like to take a couple of moments to also say thanks to those who gave back a little bit more. No pressure to do so. I know we're all in different situations, so I'm just calling out that above and beyond energy too, okay? So let's do that in this moment in time. Okay, Maria, thank you for your sticker. Same to Anne. Paula, you were very kind and you gifted 5 memberships, so thank you. And also thank you for being a member on top of that. Believe in Magic, thank you also for being a member and gifting a membership. Thank you to the following sticker givers here, Rhonda and Wendy. I appreciate you both. Same with Leslie. Another kind gift of membership from Heather, who's also a member. Thank you. Mel, thanks for your sticker. Also, thank you to Lady. I appreciate it. Thanks to Alice for another sticker. And then we have a generous gifting of a membership from Believe in Magic, a long-time subscriber and also a member. JJ, thank you for being a member and giving a sticker. And by the way, I noticed that that was true also of Anne, Sticker, and Rhonda. I saw that you're members and you gave stickers, so thank you for all of that. I see, and I appreciate all of it. So thank you, JJ. Oh my goodness, thank you very much, Ark, for yours. Very nice. We have a member anniversary with Lorna for 47 months. You know what? Thank you for your time too. That's a lot of weekly collectives that you've been to, and I appreciate it. Yolanda, thanks for the sticker. Lorna, a member who also gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Lucy, I hope you had a good Sunday, and I appreciate you for 43 months. That is quite an anniversary. Thanks for being here. Lucy, thanks for your sticker and also for gifting a membership and for being a longtime member. Deborah, thank you also for gifting a member and being a member. Yocasta, Kristen, Gia, and Bonnie, thank you all for your kind stickers. And to Kristen and Gio, thank you also for being a member on top of that. Marjorie, 47 months. Get out of. We have a lot of 47s today. Thank you so much for that kind message and for being here for all of these weekly collectives. Monica, also a member, giving a sticker. Thank you very much. You guys are great. It really makes a difference. I wouldn't be here without your love and support. Speaking of support, thank you, Dakota, for your help in moderating today. And I hope everybody is having a great week. Like I said, I'm going to start doing some additional, just different readings. I'm trying new things. I did a love one, so you can check the main channel page. It's under featured or latest updates, or latest uploads, rather. You can see that I did a membership one. I'm going to be doing that this week, but I did a love one. Maybe I'll do another pick a card for early this week. And I asked for some ideas for new topics. So thank you to everybody that gave me some ideas. We'll be looking at some of those in the weeks and days ahead. Thank you, by the way, to Fina as well. All right, folks, that's it for today. I'm gonna rest my voice for a little bit. And I hope all of you have a fantastic weekend. Love yourselves, please. Be kind to yourselves. And know that there will be a rainbow at the end of the rainstorm. All right, take care. Have a great one. Let's have some confetti and end on that note. All right, much love and light, everyone, and I'll see you soon.